Hey Factors, for everything 26 and 26, make sure to check out 26and26.com. That's 26in26.com.
Conceived in quarantine and born into a world we never would have imagined. A podcast featuring two friends, outrageous facts, and a countdown clock that always wins. This is 26 and 26, the A to Z of everything. Okay, well, normally we like to start the show a little more energy. However, we've got to start this week with some apologies.
Sorry.
Yeah. Sorry. Apparently, I like to consider myself a fan of music. I like to consider myself someone who knows the details. And if you get something wrong, you know, I'm probably one of the first guys to address it. And Andre 2000. I'd like to apologize to the entire the South, specifically Atlanta. That was a bigger deal than I guess I realized, from 2000 to 3000. But like I said, I was just an early fan of Andre when he was just Andre 2000. But you can't dead name somebody, and I understand that. So Andre 3000, my apologies.
I don't even think that's a dead name. That's just a wrong name.
Well, okay, all right.
At least I referred
with that apology.
At least I refer to the fact that the Browns used to be a terrible football team. Apparently, they're not anymore. I haven't looked into it any farther than I was just told, hey, the Browns aren't as terrible anymore. I really couldn't care less. Cleveland, you get a from me. You felt the pain enough years. I know everybody in Cleveland is like, yeah, no, that's where they came from, and it's probably where they're going to end up again.
Well, there were so many things that we could apologize for. If we did, it would be this entire episode. So we'll spare that. But the big ones, the headlines: Cleveland, good football team. Andre 3000. I don't want to rob you of that additional 1,000.
This just in 3,000. Yeah. All right, Brandon.
Bad. My bad. All right. That's a low light. Let's move into a highlight, Nathaniel. What's your highlight, buddy?
My highlight is just the other week I got back from a trip to the Inyo National Forest. I went and summited Mount Whitney, did 42 miles on the Pacific Crest Trail, and got to 508 feet in elevation, and there is not a lot of oxygen at 14,508 feet, and it was the coolest experience of my life. I wish I could be there right now, but I would not be able to record this podcast if I was there right now.
Well, I'll tell you what, man, that is extremely cool. I mean, just hearing you say I got to summit something is pretty rad.
What about you? You had a trip yourself, didn't you?
Got to get out of town a little bit, enjoy some of the higher elevations, nowhere near 14,000 feet, but it was so nice to get out of town for just even a few days and a little bit longer.
Excellent.
With the wonderful wife. So I appreciate beautiful weather. That's my highlight.
That is, especially right now as I look at a forest fire, smoke covered sky. Yeah, good weather is. I like how I'm looking around. I'm inside. I did that whole performance. I'm looking at a ceiling right now. Brandon,
I assumed you had a beautiful skylight, so
I wish I had a beautiful skylight in here. No, just stucco.
What do you say we do some letters?
We should do some letters. What are we talking about?
Today, it's actually kind of a unique episode. We find so many great facts that sometimes they just don't fit into a category. They don't make sense in a collection of other facts. So we just hold on to them, knowing that someday we are going to use them in a random episode. And that's what today's episode is. It is random. So all facts that are random, they don't tie in together at all, but they are fun, they're cool, and we want to share them with you.
The way you title some of your facts, I don't always know if they go together anyway. So it might just be par for the course with this one.
It's the Andre 2000 of facts. So
the Andre 2000 of alphabetical orders. Oh my God. All right. Well, you've got a timer. I've got a timer. 3, 2, 1, go.
All right. We're going to start with A, which is almost interesting. When written down, The word almost is the longest word in the English language to have all of its letters in alphabetical order.
Almost. That's almost interesting.
Here's the thing. Imagine telling someone that. Seriously, try telling that to someone and watch what happens. It's incredible. People have zero idea how to respond, just like you did. When it's almost interesting, but it's also not, and it's kind of the worst. So almost interesting.
Letter B.
B is for bamboo. Bamboo grows so fast. Now, this is actually downright crazy. B for bamboo. Bamboo grows so fast, it's actually measured in miles per hour. Along with being extremely strong, flexible, bamboo can be grown as a decorative plant or a practical crop. And bamboo is also a fabulous renewable resource. In fact, it's the fastest growing plant on the planet, capable of shooting up 35 inches each day. That's 0.0002 miles per hour, according to the Guinness Book of World Records.
So I would just like to give a shout out to my roommate for still being able to kill bamboo.
That's tough. That's tough. You know,
it really is. It's an accomplishment.
Speaking of killing, bamboo was actually used as a torture device.
I didn't know that.
Many Asian countries back in the day, or maybe currently today, hopefully not, they would tie down someone in a bamboo field, and it grows 35 inches in a day. So that's going to grow through you.
No.
Let's just move along. Let's just move
moving
along.
on.
C for Costco. Costco sells enough toilet paper every year to wrap around the world 1,200 times. Costco sells about 1 billion rolls of toilet paper a year. That's enough to wrap around the planet 1,200 times. Now, imagine what that number is in 2020, because you know it went up.
Oh, I was about to say they sold that in a week.
Easily. So imagine that much toilet paper can wrap around the world 1,200 times.
I want it. So, all right, homework for next episode. If it can wrap around 1,200 times, I want to find out what that length is. I want to know, can we get from like here to the moon? Here to Mars, here like in a straight line. Like if we unroll the toilet paper roll that is Earth.
And any rad listeners out there who want to do that math for us, feel free to contribute.
And if anybody doesn't want to do homework, understandable.
Understandably so. Thank you for just listening. That's enough. We appreciate it. D for diamonds. The crown jewel, as worn by Queen Elizabeth, contained the two biggest cut diamonds on Earth. Now, they both came from what's called the Cullinan diamond, which is over 3,000 carats. It was found in South Africa. 3,000 carats is massive.
Yeah. Trying to think of what that translates to. I don't know what that... I know it's a lot. I don't know diamonds. I can't afford diamonds. I'm a millennial.
It's bigger than it's bigger. It's about the size of your hand.
Oh God! All right.
Yeah, found in South Africa in 1905. It's the largest stone. It's also called the Great Star of Africa, and it's located in the Sovereign Scepter. It's the second largest diamond in the world. It's called the Sovereign Scepter, and it's on a stick.
The Great Stone of Africa, Star of Africa, is on the Sovereign Scepter of England.
Currently. And
tracks.
It's worth over $400 million. $400 million for a stick that the Queen carries around.
I mean, people have paid more for dumber. So I honestly...
Have they though? $400 million for a stick's pretty big. That's on the list. That makes the list.
Okay, it's on the list. It's definitely on the list. Now I'm going to go Google most expensive stick.
Well, that's going to be on it. That's going to be on it. E for enormous desert. Now, question for you. Where do you think you'll find the largest desert in the world?
North America.
Interesting. No.
Oh, wait. No. Antarctica. It's Antarctica. Antarctica is the largest.
How did you know that?
Yeah, because I was
Good for
homeschooled
you.
before I was public schooled.
All right, here, check one win for homeschooling.
It's the only win.
The largest desert in the world is in fact found in Antarctica. It's called the Antarctic Polar Desert. Now, the reason why it is considered a desert in Antarctica is actually has everything to do with precipitation, rain. It receives less than 10 inches of rain per year, and that's all it takes to qualify to be a desert. And it is 3 times larger than the Sahara Desert. So
Wow.
massive,
Okay.
massive.
I knew it was the biggest. I didn't know it was that big. That is.
I really thought that was a good one to stump people with, but apparently if you've been homeschooled, you've got that one. You've got that one.
We have our advantages every now and then. They're few and far between, but if you want to know about platypuses and Antarctic deserts, I've got you.
Got you covered. Yeah, your mom's going to be stoked on this one. Just stoked.
Yeah.
F for forks. A study in the Journal of Consumer Research found that when diners were given smaller forks to eat with, they ended up eating less. According to the researchers, this is because the smaller forkfuls lead to a diner to feel like they're not making much of a dent in the consuming of their food. Hence, it's satisfying their hunger. I don't know how that's true, but it might be a good time for me to upgrade my cutlery. Yeah.
And I don't know. That kind of tracks. So I like to eat occasionally with chopsticks, and I am not proficient with them, and so I eat much slower. And that actually does. When I make my fried rice, throw it back to another episode, I can just shovel with a fork into my open gullet. But if I'm using chopsticks, like there's actually some thought, some effort, and yeah, actually I don't. That tracks. Now I'm gonna start making weird fork experimentation charts in my kitchen.
What's weird also is, and since we're talking about forks, I recently saw chopstick forks. On one end, it's the chopsticks, the 2 chopsticks, but then they're bendable, and it leads up to the top where there is a traditional fork, so you can just flip it back and forth.
I feel like that would be very top heavy. I feel like that would be very unwieldy.
It's kind of
even then.
We'll see if we can include an image.
All right, we'll see what we've got.
Yeah, it's pretty. I hadn't seen it. It's probably not new to anybody else, but it was new to me. G, Gone to the Girls. This one was interesting. High-heeled shoes were originally designed for rich men. High heels have become such an icon and stereotypical femininity that many women feel an outfit is not complete without them. But this ultra girly symbol was first invented for, of course, Parisian men. They started to wear the trend in the 10th century, and the shoes were mostly considered masculine fashion until the 18th century when women claimed them. So the next time your lady says, "I'd like to see you in high heels," you can respond, "We gave that up over 200 years ago." Sorry, ladies.
Over 300, almost 300 years ago.
Yeah, I guess now. Yeah, sure.
That is why? Just to make them. Do you know why? Was it just to make them taller?
Have you ever seen your calves in a nice pair of heels?
That's true. Have you seen my butt in a nice pair of heels? I mean,
on the next episode of 26 and 26.
You will not want to watch it.
H for hammock. This is, I think this is fact. I love it. Hammocks. You sleep deeper in a hammock than you do a bed. Swiss scientists have found that the rocking motion from a hammock leads to nappers enjoying a longer period of N2 sleep and increased slow oscillations and sleep spindles, which is all science jargon for deeper sleep than you get in a traditional bed. The rocking motion is also found to actually have the subject fall asleep faster than a regular bed. I always wanted a hammock in my room growing up. Do you like hammocks?
I love hammocks. I'm in the process of debating whether or not I'll be upgrading my backpacking rig to getting rid of my tent and including just a hammock.
Oh, I've seen those great hammock tents that have the little top, like there's almost like a little bug net, mosquito net.
The rain fly, yeah.
Yeah, with the rain fly as well, but just also keep the little buggies
with the
off
bug net as well. Yeah, no, my biggest caveat or my biggest hindrance right now is I live in a desert, so unless I'm going up north, It's not really pitching a hammock off of two cactuses. So,
Yeah. Saguaro to Saguaro, this is not a good plan.
oh, now I'm just imagining it like actually lashing it to a saguaro,
Oh
but
no.
then like it slicing the saguaro and it falling over onto you. And
No thanks. No
no,
thanks.
no, I'm sticking with the tent in the desert.
I for identical twins. Nathaniel, do you know any identical twins?
I do. I do.
Oh,
None of
do you know
them
any that
born
have children? Each have children.
uh yet each. I think they do. I don't know. I haven't talked to them in a while. Probably at the rate.
This was wild. Children of identical twins are genetically siblings, not cousins. So if each twin has a child, they're not cousin. Those children are not cousins to each other. They are genetically siblings.
Huh.
Cousins whose parents are identical twins share 25% of their DNA instead of the usual 12.5%. While full siblings share 50% of their DNA, half siblings share 25%. That's why children of identical twins are legally cousins, but they are genetically the equivalent of half siblings.
Huh. That I'm doing my high school freshman biology genome chart, and yeah, that's really cool. I did
That's
not.
actually that fact
That's
for me
really
was
cool.
It was really cool. That fact for me was great first date material right there. Drop that on your first date. See how they respond. How they respond is going to tell you everything you need to know about that person.
Do you know if you and I had a kid, and I and your twin sister had a kid, those kids would be siblings, right?
And it would be
Wait, where are you
weird
going?
at
Where are you
Christmas.
going?
That's for sure.
It's a weird Christmas.
Jay, speaking of Christmas, let's talk about the man's birthday. J for Jesus feet.
All right, bring it.
The Last
Yes.
Supper originally showed Jesus's feet, but they were
Yes.
cut off to make a doorway.
Wait, what?
Yeah, the
I'm
Last
assuming
Supper.
you're talking about the painting, The Last Supper.
Well, the painting of the Last Supper, which is
Yes.
famously displayed.
Yes.
It's one of the most famous works of art in the history of this planet.
Yes.
All right. Well, it also used to include Jesus's feet, but they were cut off when a door was installed beneath the wall, beneath what's called the fresco in 1652. Imagine being the guy who made that call. It's like, well, where do you want to put the door?
Oh, the painting.
The painting
Okay,
sits on a fresco above a door, but the
Gotcha,
door
okay.
wasn't originally there.
Gotcha,
Some
so they
guys
cut-
did a little remodeling.
Oh my God. Okay. I thought you meant like in the painting, like they like painted his feet and then originally I'm trying to remember what exactly the Last Supper looks like. I'm like, I don't remember there being a door there. Okay.
Well, it's kind of like Jesus in the center
building.
and his crew
and
on
then-
each side. And,
Yeah. But I would assume you could have seen his feet. I didn't realize you were speaking about where it's actually the painting itself, where it's hung up.
Well, you did
removed-
originally in 1651, you would have been able to see Jesus's feet. 1653, they're gone, and you got a doorway. Somebody that was an interesting renovation choice.
Clearly did not understand the historical ramifications.
Yeah, no, it's like I like a doorway there. You sure about that? K for 100K. The U.S. Treasury once printed $100,000 bills. Between December 18th, 1934 and December 9th, 1935, the notes with Woodrow Wilson's face were issued to the Federal Reserve Bank, but they never went out to the general public, which is probably best because you don't want to lose a $100,000 bill.
I would like to just see $100,000 bill. I mean,
it's like, excuse me, can you break this?
I also want to be able to know enough about U.S. presidential history to make some joke about Wilson being on that bill, but I don't know enough about Wilson in order to be able to say anything truly witty.
I think we got to start using Woodrow Wilson in place of 100,000. Like, I lost a couple Woodrow Wilsons in Bitcoin recently. A couple of Woodrows.
Again, I'm a millennial. I'm not going to see a Woodrow Wilson anytime soon.
Sucks to be young. The longest one-syllable word in the English language all start with the letter S. So what's the longest one-syllable word you can think of?
The longest one-syllable word? Well, I'm trying to think of them starting with S now, and
While you think about it,
I
a
don't-
monosyllabic word
Yeah.
has just one syllable.
Yeah.
And while plenty of monosyllabic words exist, the longest ones all happen to start with the letter S. According to the Guinness Book of World Records, at 10 letters, scraunched, strength are the longest monosyllabic words in the English language.
Strength.
strenghed. Strength. strenghed.
Strength. I didn't even know that was a word, let alone the longest monosyllabic word out there.
Use it in a
Strength.
sentence.
I have great strength. That's
Coming in
what
second.
I follow with on the first date.
Yeah, exactly. That's
Let me tell you about our children and my great strength.
See, strength though feels like two syllables.
Strength.
I mean, it's one.
No, I get what you mean. The THED feels a little bit, but
Like I want to give the D its own syllable alone.
and then what? Scrunched was. 10 minutes remaining.
Okay, we better get moving here then.
You said you're coming in at 0.
At 9 is English language. The English language has screeched, scrounched, squelched, straights, and strengths. All come in second place with 9 letters.
I think we're just making up words at this point.
I think so. Let's move on. M, most records record.
Most records record?
Yeah, there's a world record for the most world records.
As in, like, who holds the most world records?
Exactly. It belongs to a Brooklyn man named Ashrita Furman, who holds more than 600 Guinness World Records, ranging from heaviest shoes walked in at 323 pounds to the most baseballs held in a baseball glove at 26.
Good God, that's a lot of baseballs. And also, what does this man do with his time? Clearly just this.
Yeah, just records.
I mean, do you get paid for that? How do you get a Nike sponsorship for holding baseballs in a baseball glove?
And baseballs aren't cheap. They're not cheap. $26. That's well over $100. A couple $100. Ashrita is either definitely the best or the worst person to have dinner with. That's for sure. They're either incredible and you just like are captivated by them the entire time, or you're just like, oh, when is this guy going to shut up about his 300-pound shoes?
Swear to God, if I hear one more world record, I'll have the world record for
killing a man right now.
No, that goes to a tiger.
Yeah, that's true, as we learned. How addicted are you to your phone? Like, is that something that you just can't leave the house with?
No, actually, I thought I lost it during the Mount Whitney trip. And aside from like the initial gut panic, it was a weirdly cathartic, like, wow, I don't have to worry about turning off airplane mode when we get back to the car. I'm like, I will talk to y'all when I'm back in town.
Well, it doesn't sound like you have N for nomophobia. It's the fear of not having your cell phone, which is increasingly people are becoming reliant on. They can attach a development that becomes such a serious issue that those with nomophobia, the abbreviation of no mobile phone phobia,
My God.
Have a fear of not having their phone with them. They get equally freaked out when their battery dies or when there's no network coverage available, which for me is like the best thing. It's like those are the good camping spots. Once you're out of the network coverage, that's where you camp. Stop. A 2019 study by the UK firm YouGov found that 34% of men and 52% of women currently deal with some form of the condition.
Well, I'm curious.
I've gone back home to get my phone.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No. And I'm curious how much of that is on a social level and how much of that is on a work level, because it's gotten to the point where, you know, if depending on your job, if you're on call, you absolutely can't leave. Like, you're getting your emails there, there's your calendar there. I mean, I've
that's
been
a rational fear because people can actually die if you're like a doctor.
Exactly. But at the same time, I also know people that don't have that kind of responsibility and have the exact same reaction when they don't have their phone. It's like, well, I can't check my social media feeds. I can't text this person.
Right.
I'm just simply not reachable. So I'm curious, out of the people that are showing with nomophobia, how much of that is societally based and how much of that is work based. And then I'd want to talk about, why do our jobs have to be so incredibly overbearing that we can't set down our cell phones? But That's
It's like
discussion for another day.
It's European out of office notifications. It's like, I'm going to be out of the office for the next 2 to 3 months. I'm going to be on the beach. I'm going to be nowhere in contact. Whereas like I'm going to be in the hospital in America and you can text me. I'm going into surgery at 6:59. All right. Exactly. Time wise, we got to move along.
Yes.
Oh, for on second thought, this one keeps me up at night. I don't understand it. Bubble wrap. It was originally invented to be wallpaper. Bubble wrap was invented in 1957 by a couple of engineers, Alfred Fielding and Mark Canavas, who sealed 2 shower curtains together, creating a smattering of air bubbles, which they initially tried to sell as wallpaper. I mean, which is totally problematic. When that didn't work out, obviously, they realized their product could be used for protection in packaging. And they founded the Sealed Air Corporation in 1960 when the inventors showed the product to IBM. IBM lost their mind, and they launched their first mass-produced computers with that technology, the bubble technology inside. So when they were shipping them out, the product obviously got there safer. But it's like, how did they start with wallpaper? I mean,
I'm like trying to figure out, was it supposed to be? I mean, I could see that being fun. Like if it's, hey, you can pop your wallpaper and it's stress relieving.
I would be so pissed off if you came into my house and popped my bubble wrap wallpaper. I'm like, dude, that took me forever. It's like the worst wallpaper. I mean, forget any kind of like style issues, just in function. There are like a ton of issues with bubble wrap wallpaper. Mainly you coming over and popping it.
It would be cool with like paint, like if you could like pop paint bubbles and then like it gave you this really cool, I don't even know what the term, just mess. It'd be a mess. Never mind.
But I mean,
I take it all back.
Who gave them funding? These guys are engineers that they ended up working with IBM. They're so smart.
Dude, have you heard of WeWork? Let's not talk funding. Anybody can get money for anything.
Yeah. No, I mean, it paid off for them. Obviously, bubble wrap is still used today and can be found.
Thing ever.
A lot of it found in your local dump. P, pass me a Lego. It takes nearly 2 days for a human to discharge a Lego through their body.
Really?
Anyone who's been around Legos knows that they're incredibly painful to step on, but have you ever wondered what happens when you swallowed one? No, I have never wondered that. In 2018, a study published in the Journal of Pediatrics and Child Health, 6 volunteers decided to find out by ingesting a Lego figurine head. A piece that is much rounder and presumably easier. Yeah, that was the thing that really messed me up. It's like, okay, they found, just so you know, that it takes on average 1.7 days to pass the Lego. I got to be honest with you. The Lego head is not the Lego anybody is worrying about.
No. Also, now I just want to be like, okay, so what was the control scenario? What were these people? How long was it taking people to pass other things? Like, is this an anomaly? Is this based off of if you're gonna consume a Lego head, make sure you have a high fiber diet so that way you can pass it in 1.7. Yeah, no, that's.
No.
Although you probably tear yourself internally if you ate any of the square ones. So.
Well, then, but no one cares about the Lego head. Why are we okay? It's like if we're gonna get wild here, eat a Lego. But the Lego head? I mean,
eat the block.
Yeah, come on. The L-shaped block. Come on.
Science.
Yeah. Q for questionable sense. New car smell. Do you like new car smell?
I don't know.
Millennials. The new car smell is the scent of dozens of chemicals. Few odors are as pleasing as new car smell, not just because it's nice to be in a brand new car, but while the scent may be strangely satisfying, the fact is pretty much that it's just a combination of 50 plus chemicals known as a volatile organic compound. They're released in the car by quickly decaying over time, and that's why it eventually goes away. But it's made up of things like petroleum. You can find these same chemicals in like nail polish, auto fuel.
So you're just huffing it and getting high on 50 chemicals and going, yes, I would like to buy this car. Shut up and take my money.
I love the smell of volatile organic compounds in the morning, set in the dystopian nightmare.
Nothing better. Nothing gets me going. Forget my cup of coffee. I want some volatile organic chemicals.
Bring it. R for rubber ducks. Nearly 30,000 rubber ducks were lost at sea in 1992 and are still being discovered today. Over 25 years ago, a cargo ship traveling from Hong Kong to the United States accidentally lost a shipping crate in the Pacific Ocean. Inside the crate were almost 30,000 rubber ducks. Unwillingly embark on many long journeys across the globe. As the rubber ducks continue to pop up on shores from Australia to Alaska, they've enlightened our understanding of ocean currents, actually. So we understand how, if you drop something, how, the current routes are taken. Some have made their way all the way to the Atlantic Ocean, while others have been found frozen in Arctic ice.
I mean, yay to find the silver lining with scientific implications and ocean currents, but at the same time,
my thought.
God dang it, that is just
this is everywhere. A fun little story about pollution.
That's adorable pollution. You know what else is adorable? The fact that there's 3, 2, 1 times up. You still haven't finished. Actually, far at all on this one. This is actually one of your shorter ones.
We regressed.
You said you were gonna. You said it was going to be a big one on this one, or you were going to get it at least. You were going to get all 26 letters.
Yeah, I always go into it confident, but sometimes you hear stories about rubber ducks and you get excited. You know what I'm saying?
It is true. Anyway, letters that we missed: S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, Z. That is 19.
I really did come short today.
Yeah, 19 letters out of 26 letters. But you do get one pity fact, so choose wisely out of your remaining facts.
Okay.
One pity fact.
I might want to do 2. We'll start with this one.
Getting
timeline
on me.
I know. Right. Timeline. T for timeline. Cleopatra. You know who Cleopatra is, obviously.
Yes.
She lived closer in history to cell phones than she did to the Great Pyramids of Egypt. Cleopatra, the last active ruler of Egypt, was born in about 69 BC, whereas the Great Pyramids were completed around 2560 BC. Cell phones debuted in 1983, so in the timeline, she was closer to cell phones than she was to the Great Egypt Pyramids.
60, 1800, yeah. Wow, that's really... Oh, timelines.
This is a good one to bring up after a long silence with someone. Just sitting in a car for 20 minutes, no one said anything. You drop that one on them.
When your date is staring at you, wondering what the hell you just said about twin births, hit him with Cleopatra and cell phones.
All right, I do want to do one more. Because I'm interested in what you think. All right, this one is V for very hard to believe. How many times, Nathaniel, can you fold a piece of paper?
7.
7?
Yeah. Isn't it 7 times?
It's like really good. Again, homeschooling 2.
No. Mythbusters 1.
Fair enough. Cable 1. If you folded a piece of paper 42 times, it would be thick enough to reach the moon. 42 times. One piece of paper, if you could fold it 42 times.
Yeah, how big's the piece of paper?
It doesn't matter. It truly doesn't matter. And here's why. I did say that correctly. According to Gizmodo, all it takes to verify this is simple math. If you fold a piece of paper in half, it doubles in thickness. Yeah. If you fold it in half again, it doubles in thickness. Okay. With that type of exponential growth, it would take just 23 folds for a 0.1 millimeter piece of paper to be a kilometer thick, and 30 folds for it to be thick enough to reach outer space, 100,000 kilometers. Unfortunately, the world record for number of folds, what do you think is the world record for a number of times a piece of paper was folded?
It's less than 10. I want to say it's something really like it's...
12 times.
12? Okay, there you go.
12 times is the world record for any piece of paper, regardless of size. to be folded.
It's because of the bend. It's because of the actual fold. The Mythbusters episode, they were literally running it over with a steamroller, trying to get it flat enough.
It was a huge piece of paper.
Yeah.
Actually, I think I remember that.
Yeah. It was in like an airplane hangar or something like that. Yeah, absolutely. 12 times. So we're only 32 additional 40. You said it was 42 folds to get to the moon.
42 to get to the moon.
40 figures would be 42. 42 is the answer to everything. We need to get Elon working on this technology.
Paper folding. This is what we need you to conquer next.
We can just make a paper folded bridge to Mars, and then we can just walk to Mars.
It's pretty wild.
That's how we're going to do it.
That's how we're going to get into Mars. We're folding paper, people.
Folding paper. We're gonna fold right into being thankful and grateful for things. Brandon, what are you thankful and grateful for?
Well, I'm always thankful for the music that you heard in this episode by the one, the only Mr. Mike DeChico and Domesticated Robot. Check them out at domesticatedrobot.com. I'm also thankful for just being able to have fun. I know that the last year for a lot of people hasn't been so fun, and we won't get into any of that, but fun is around the corner. I can feel it. I'm excited for new things going on in the future. And what about you?
I'm thankful for life and friends. That trip really just kind of put my head in the right spot, as if my bike didn't help my mental space enough. Just getting to be out. Now that this podcast is over, listeners, turn your device off and go outside. If you're not done listening, don't turn it off yet. Finish the episode, then go outside and just enjoy, unless you're in Phoenix, then it's really hot. But all caveats aside, get outside, enjoy life, enjoy. Even on the darkest day, the sun is still shining and there's still beauty somewhere in the world. A flower, a bird, anything.
A podcast.
It's just a podcast. Just get outside and enjoy life. It is truly special, and I'm truly grateful for that in my most hippy-dippy possible way of being grateful. And before I take it any farther, Brandon, take us out of here.
We leave you now with love and light and this. Natural selection is anything but random. Richard Dawkins.
Really? It wasn't a Darwin quote?
No. Huh. Richard. Old Dick Dawkins said it.
Oh, good old Dick.
All right, Nathaniel, in under 26 seconds and in alphabetical order, tell us how they can find us. Go!
A, Amazon, Apple Podcasts, anywhere you listen to podcasts. F, Facebook, 26 in 26 A2Z. I, Instagram, 26 in 26 A2Z. T, Twitter, 26 in 26 A2Z. W, website, www.26in26.com. Y, YouTube, 26 in 26, the A to Z of everything. Time!